All right, so today we're going to pull back the curtain on something that's part art, part science, but absolutely essential for just about every business out there: forecasting. It's really all about how we make smart, educated guesses to plan for a future that's, well, always a little bit unknown.
To really get our heads around this, let's start with a super simple question. Imagine you run a local bakery. Every single morning, you have to decide, how many pastries do I make? It's this daily puzzle, and you know what? It's the same fundamental problem whether you're a food truck or a massive global airline.
And this is the tightrope you walk every single day. If you guess too low, your shelves are totally bare by lunchtime. That means lost sales and, even worse, unhappy customers who might not come back. But if you guess too high, you're looking at trash cans full of wasted food and lost profit. Ouch.
So how do you get beyond just a gut feeling? How do you try to nail that number? Well, businesses use a formal process called forecasting to try and get that guess just right.
At its heart, forecasting is really just a structured way to look ahead and anticipate demand. It isn't magic, not at all. It's simply about using the data you have right now to make a really solid guess about what's going to happen next. And that single guess, it's the foundation for almost every decision a business is going to make.
This right here, this gets us to the very first and maybe the most important universal truth of forecasting. Yeah, it's a powerful tool for cutting through the fog of uncertainty, but it can never, ever make it disappear completely.
And I mean, think about it, right? A sudden downpour keeps people at home. A surprise local festival brings in huge crowds. A new diet trend goes viral. These things are totally random and unpredictable. Because of stuff like that, no forecast is ever going to be perfect. The goal isn't to be right. The goal is just to be a little less wrong tomorrow than you were today.
Okay, here's the second big rule. It is way, way easier to accurately forecast for a whole group of things than for one specific item. So for our bakery, predicting total pastry sales for the day is much easier than predicting sales for, say, just the almond croissants. Why? Because when you lump things together, all the random little highs and lows tend to cancel each other out.
And this one just makes total sense, doesn't it? I mean, predicting how many muffins you're going to sell tomorrow is a lot easier and probably going to be more accurate than trying to predict your muffin sales for this exact day 1 year from now. The further out you try to look, the cloudier that crystal ball gets, for sure.
So how do people actually do this stuff? Well, there are two main ways to go about it. We're going to start with what you might call the art of the guess. These are the methods that really lean on human judgment and expertise.
This art side of forecasting, what we call qualitative methods, is what you have to turn to when you're basically flying blind. Think about launching a totally new product, like some trendy new cronut, or maybe opening your bakery in a brand new city. You have zero historical sales data to look at, so you can't rely on the past. This is where human insight becomes everything.
And this is where you have to lean on people's expertise. It's not just one person's gut feeling, though. You might use something called the Delphi method, where you bring together a panel of experts to argue it out and eventually reach a consensus. You definitely talk to your sales staff. The bakers and cashiers who know their customers by name. You could even survey your regulars to see if they'd actually buy that new cronut. It's all about collecting human judgment and giving it some structure. Okay, now let's flip the coin and look at the other side, the science. This is where we get into quantitative forecasting, and this is the engine behind so many business plans. It's all about letting the data do the talking and finding power in historical patterns.
Quantitative forecasting is your go-to when you have a solid track record. It works on a really simple but incredibly powerful assumption that the patterns you've seen in the past are, for the most part, going to continue into the future. This is absolutely perfect for your daily staples, like your classic muffins or baguettes.
The logic here is actually pretty straightforward. First, you gather up your data, say your muffin sales from the last 90 days. Then, you dig into that data to find a pattern. You might discover, for example, that you sell 50% more muffins on Saturdays. Simple enough. Finally, you just extend that pattern forward to predict how many you'll probably sell this Saturday.
Okay, so we've made our data-driven forecast. But hey, remember universal truth number one? It is going to be wrong. So the next step isn't to get frustrated. It's to measure exactly how wrong we were. This is the only way we get better at this.
Let's just walk through a quick example. Based on all our past data and the patterns we found, our fancy model told us we were going to sell exactly 215 muffins today. So that's how many we baked. So the day ends, we count up the cash and the receipts, and it turns out we sold 217 muffins. Hey, we were close. Not bad at all. Just a little bit off.
we sold 2 more than we thought we would.
And that little difference, the actual sales minus what we forecasted, that is our forecast error. In this case, it's a +2. By constantly tracking this little number, we can start to fine-tune our models, maybe adjust our assumptions, and just make that cloudy crystal ball a tiny bit clearer for next time.
So, what's the whole point of this? Why do we go through all this trouble? Well, the real payoff isn't just about getting a number. The real power of forecasting is how it lets a business switch from just reacting to things to actually being proactive.
You can really see the two different mindsets here. A reactive manager sees a forecast for slow sales on Tuesday and just says, okay, guess we'll bake fewer pastries. But a proactive manager sees that exact same forecast and asks, okay, how can we change this? They're the ones who run a 2-for-1 Tuesday promotion to actively shape that demand and drive more people into the store.
And that right there is the biggest idea of all. Forecasting isn't just a passive guess about what might happen, it's an active, strategic tool. It's what allows a business to stop just reacting to the world as it is and start actually shaping its own future.
And you know, when it comes right down to it, this whole idea of reducing uncertainty applies everywhere, not just in bakeries or in corporate boardrooms. Whether you're trying to forecast your monthly budget, your next career move, or even just your weekend plans, you're using these exact same principles. So it kind of leaves you with a question. What future are you trying to create?